In this video, we're going to show you how to install an automatic transmission shift cable on your Ford Mustang located on the bottom side of your transmission. We want to use our 13mm socket on this nut. We want to go ahead and remove this nut to disengage the shift cable. We're also going to use our 13mm wrench on the controller up top here. We're going to hold this while we loosen this nut. Now our whole unit here is spinning, so we're going to use some small locking pliers here. We need to keep the inboard section from spinning while we loosen this. Now our shift cable bracket is held in place by two 10mm bolts. Loosen and remove those. Remove this 8mm bolt here. Following the cable back, I'm going to remove this 8mm bolt as well. Now this white clip right here, this horseshoe clip, snaps into place into this metal bracket. I'm going to use a small pick here and gently get in between. Do the same on the other side. Now on the end here, I'm going to use a pair of needle nose pliers. I want to get between the end here and just gently pry out. And this is a ball and socket design, just pops the cable end off. Now we can remove our shift cable from the vehicle. Now we have our bracket in our vise right here on our bench, and this has a little locking button here, similar to our other connector or retainer. You gotta pry this out, and this has a plastic button on it that locks into a hole in the metal there. So what we're gonna do is use our small pick, and we're gonna use a screwdriver and gently work this up and out. Now we did spray it down with some rust penetrant to try and help break that free. You can work it out like so. Here's our bracket with that hole in there. That's what that plastic retainer will lock into when we install the new cable. Install your bracket onto the cable. Push up on this little tab. I'm going to work this in. Now we're going to wait till this little tab will pop into that hole. So we're just going to keep on gently tapping that in, and it is now flush. The button is in the bracket, so that is locked into place. On our transmission side of the cable, we're going to follow this down, and there is another locking button right here, or two buttons, one here and here. Now this is shaped like a horseshoe. Just push that off. Remember the position that it went into. The buttons are facing the eyelet. So discard the old unit. Line this up and push this on. Now let's go ahead and install our cable end on the transmission. With the cable end eyelet lined up with the ball stud, you can press it on by hand. Slide your bracket back over. Line that up, and we want to tap this into place. And what I'm doing is I'm lifting up a little bit on those little lock tabs. And there it is. So the buttons are locked into place. I'm going to bring our cable up, feed this up and over the exhaust. And we're going to install our bolt right here. Go ahead and snug down that bracket. So once it bottoms out, just give it a little bit more. Not a full quarter turn, but enough to make it snug. I'm going to put a bolt in here. I'm going to line our cable up, get this mounting block up into position, and go ahead and get that bolt started a few threads. Now we're not going to tighten down this bracket fully yet. What we want to do is leave this have a little bit of play in that. We want to install our bracket on the side of our transmission and our cable shift end. Grab the bolts. Go ahead and get that lined up with that cable bracket. Now we can go ahead and tighten down the bracket bolts. I'm going to snug those in there pretty good. Once those bolts bottom out, just give them a little bit more. Go back to the first one. Double check that one. Now we're going to take our cable end here, line that up onto the stud, install the nut. And we have our wrench on the controller up top here. Very important that we hold that stationary as we tighten this nut. Snug that down. We're going to come back to our cable bracket right here, and let's finish tightening that down. Once that bolt bottoms out, just snug it gently. Now at this point here, you want to hop into the vehicle, cycle it through from park, reverse, drive, and through all of the gears a few times. Test out all the adjustments on there. Once you're done with that, you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.